Hello, everybody. It's Saturday night, and I am going to be doing my take on the Metal Tag 2024. Just going to give it a minute or so, see if anybody wants to join. If you want to say hello in the comments, I'd love to know who's watching and why you've got nothing better to do with your time right now. So yeah, Metal Tag has been something that's been going on for a number of years now. Originally started out by the Rock Scout. Uh, hey, John. Yeah, originally started out by the Rock Scout a few years ago. It's something that he's been putting out at the start of every year. Brilliant way to start the year off. Great way to discover new channels. You just have to search for Metal Tag 2024 in YouTube, and you'll find a whole bunch of channels that you've probably never heard of before that have jumped on board as well. Trying it a little bit different this time round with a live stream. Don't know how well this will work out because the Metal Tag is so scripted in terms of what you are going to show and what you're going to say, but I'm happy to see how this all plays out and go off on whatever tangent the comments take me. Hey, Kim, Mika, Marty. Yeah, it's a nice shirt. That's one of the questions, actually, but it's not this shirt that I'm showing today. First things first, don't want to get a little bit dry. So, gone for a Scottish golden ale today. So, yeah, hope everyone's had a good weekend. It's, 9 p.m. Saturday night, Edinburgh, UK, at this moment in time. I am going to go through the 20 questions. So, yeah, obviously, I've already got sidetracked, haven't I? I was talking about the origins of the Metal Tag. Scott is not doing one this year, and Metal Mickey, being a guy not wanting this to die out, gave the guys over at the Hevel Metallurgy Challenge, there's a link below. That's a word I struggle with all the time. He encouraged them to come up with a set of questions and kick it off this year. And I think even Mike even contributed a question or two himself, although I'm not sure exactly which one, to be honest. I can't remember from watching their video. So yeah, I encourage you to check out as many videos as you can in this series. If you've done one yourself and you want to drop a link in the comments here to give yourself a bit of exposure, feel free to do so. Okay, I'm going to kick off now as we're 3 minutes in. The first question of the Metal Tag 2024 is: name a release you are eagerly anticipating in 2024. I thought I'd start off in a really enthusiastic way and say I'm not actually looking forward to anything, to be honest with you. There are some big bands all throwing their hat in the ring for 2024. Obviously, and I think every one of these videos I've watched, there's still a number that I haven't yet. Judas Priest, Bruce Dickinson, Saxon are kind of the obvious ones. And I have no doubt that those three will find their way into my collection at the end of the year. But I can't get super excited about them. I kind of know I'm going to enjoy them. But I'm probably going to be more surprised by some things that pop up that I don't know about than be super excited. I have nothing on pre-order at the moment, so yeah, nothing really to get too excited about at the moment, but it's early in the year, so we'll see how it goes. So Boomer, glad to have you on board. Rocket Rod, good day, always good to see you, mate. So, question 2. Let's go to something, because I like the questions where I can actually show something physical, and also I'll do a few, like my end of year video. One of the reasons why I'm doing these live streams is to chuck some needle drops in here as well, and pray to the copyright gods that the video stays up, which actually went really well in the last video. Every song got recognised by YouTube and categorised, and it was only this song by Night Demon, which is Century Media, so I'm kind of looking at the labels here, making sure I'm not choosing any too popular labels to play. It was only the Century Media Night Demon track that got dinged, and that wasn't a copyright strike, it was just blocked in Russia, and, well, quite frankly, I don't really care about that, so the video stayed. So question 2, Chinese New Year 2024 is the year of the dragon. Show off an album either inspired by or containing dragons on the cover. It's heavy metal. Dio was probably one of the obvious choices, but I went with English Dogs and Forward into Battle. This is English Dogs, UK. They're a thrash band, but they started off more as a punk hardcore band, and then dabbled a little bit in thrash. This is a little bit more on the sort of the hardcore punky side. You can tell by the look of it. They've got this spiky punk hair rather than the long metal hair. But I'm going to chuck on this and pick a song. This is pretty raw stuff. Whether we'll go through the whole song here, I don't know. I'll decide as we go along. But I don't really know what song to pick, so I'm just going to kind of pick one at random, I think. Let's go for Nosferatu. I have this issue where I can never remember the names of songs. I'm an album guy, so I just listen to the albums, and then I can never remember the names of songs that I like. So let's try and hit this at the right position.
We ain't the final force of the devil's blood. A man to whom all time matters now.
Let me know what you think in the comments. This is obviously quite rough and ready.
With bloodlust in his mind and soul, worshipper of all evil commands. Nosferatu, the deadliest
Still very punky. There's a sound coming through, okay. I mean, obviously I can hear what I'm hearing here, but you're hearing a direct feed from my iPhone. So, unless you guys tell me that something is overpowering or not, I don't really know until I listen back myself.
May try to destroy you. You have yet seen it all through.
So this is yeah, it is kind of it's hardcore. It's a bit crossover. It's a real mismatch. Yeah, very similar to Warfare. They were all stable buddies, I think, back at the time. This cover was actually they found it, or one of the guys found it in a library book. He ripped out the page and took it to the printers, and they printed it out, given a toss to them to famous painting. The story goes though that years later, I think they paid $1,000 or so and actually got the rights for it with a reissue. And on the original cover, this is a reissue. I think you can even see the line in the page where it had been in the book that we ripped out.
Bringer of life to the grave. Many will try to destroy you.
Who else have we got here then?
You have yet seen it all through.
8 o'clock in the morning. Yes, I don't often have a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning though. But it's always 8 o'clock in the morning somewhere, isn't it? As they say. Hey Jason. Yeah, it's good. It's rough and it's ready. I like the one or two that came after as well. But this is raw. I'm not going to do a needle drop, by the way, for every 20 answers here. I think that might just go on a little bit too long. This is when they wanted to be more intricate than Pink would allow them. And, thrash metal scene. I think this came out when it was this. It says 1985 play record, so punk rock, hardcore inspired by thrash metal.
slave.
Probably pick one of the longest tracks on the album.
To the grave. Many have tried to destroy you. You have yet seen it all through.
Yeah, nice one. That was Nosferatu by English Dogs off Forward into Battle, an album cover with dragons on it, and mighty fierce dragons they are as well. Okay, question 3 is, what was your favourite album that you acquired in 2023? I've taken this literally, so I'm not choosing to show an album from 2023, but an album that I acquired in 2023, and this was my favourite album that I acquired in 2023. It was a bit of an amazing find to find in a local record shop. I paid towards the top of my budget, and honestly my budget is not really that high when it comes to vinyl. I never really get sucked in, but to find a copy of Give 'Em Hell by Witchfind out in 1980 was an absolutely killer find. Early new wave of British heavy metal. Okay, question 4. Was there a title in 2023 that you were satisfied to purchase digitally, not on physical media? No. It's not about being satisfied to purchase on digital media. So I thing is, if it's on YouTube or it's on Bandcamp and I can listen to it, I'm probably less likely to buy it, which I know isn't support of the artist. So, but I support many an artist by buying physical stuff. The last album that I ever bought digitally was by this band, which is Robot Death Monkey. I've just seen them play at an all-day metal festival in Edinburgh, and they didn't have these guys don't have anything physical at all. They've got about 3 or 4 albums out, and they were just fantastic. I bought a t-shirt and then I went online and I bought their discography on Bandcamp. It's really sort of a bit sort of sludgy, thrashy, fuzzy. You've got to listen to them. Have a go at Robot Death Monkey on Bandcamp. I think this album was called Big Pussy as well, which is, you know, how can you not like that? So that was the last digital album I bought, but honestly that was about 2 years ago, and very, very few and far between. Okay, question 5. Show an album that musically doesn't match the cover art. Okay. Oh, let me take out the cover. Can anyone hazard a guess as to the style of music this is? Nope. Anybody? Okay. This is kind of like a stoner rock band. The back cover is a bit more descriptive, obviously, for stoner. But this is, which you probably can't read, this is a Chubby Thunderous Bad Kush Masters, and they're, I think it's around 2020, can't remember the date for this one. I'll look at the date while it's playing. I'm going to play a song from this. This is Come and Chuck Me. But this is poor. Not porno grime, not new traditional heavy metal. No, it does kind of look bluegrassy and folk. But let me play a track from this video. I've not heard this out. This it's more of an EP really. Yeah, it's got 8 tracks in it. I've not heard this for quite some time, so kind of remind myself of what it sounds like. It's on a nice Pooh brown vinyl as well. And let's look at what sounds particularly. The last no, the last track was really long. This is okay. This song is called Donna Trump. Donna is in Donna Kebab, and Trump is obviously in Trump. So let's play you a bit of Donna Trump. It's quite cool. It comes with this. It's almost like it's inner. It's like a takeaway menu. So like the track listings. Lots of Donna Trumps. You get Donna Trump rap, Donna Trump shart, Donna Trump vomit, Donna Trump snot, and Donna Trump piss in the small dick Trumps section. I haven't listened to any Stoner for a long time. So good. Comers in C-O-M-E, obviously. None of that vulgar nonsense here, gentlemen. But obviously read into that what you will. Seems to be a topic that you know quite a lot about, Kim. Have you done a video on your porno grind collection, maybe? Yeah, it's gnarly, isn't it? Hi, Thomas. Numbers 2023 in this one, Thomas, so you'll be pleased to hear. Out. Yeah, super fuzz. I do love a bit of. I'm gonna have to dive into my my old Stoner collection, which is. I don't know why I've not really listened to any for a while, but I've not been really in the mood for it. But that's kind of got me thinking about some of the other albums that I've got. Yeah, solid bit of Stoner. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Surprisingly good UK Stoner bands out there. These guys are from the UK as well, I think. Although I'm completely speculating on that one. So I'm just going to do that annoying thing with the sleeves. I'll put that one away, and I am putting away as I'm going along because it's a live stream and I don't have to worry about time because I'll just go on until everybody dies. So that was an album that musically doesn't match the cover. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how interested people would be in that. But then again, if I'm pulling out some records and just playing them, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that's actually a reissue. Unfortunately, I'd love to have an OG of that one, but I was late to the party on that one. But an absolute banger, that Power Games by Jaguar. I am actually thinking of doing more of a kind of a new wave of British heavy metal. Nothing too obscure, but just some of the sort of deeper cuts. So we'll see that at some point then, eh? Right, but this is Metal Tag, isn't it? And I'm only 5 questions in. Number 6. Who is the metal artist you own most items by? No one is at all going to be surprised that it's Iron Maiden. I had a quick look through my overly anal and extensive database that I've got, that I keep with all my recordings, and it was over 90 pieces when it came to vinyl, CD, tapes for Iron Maiden, plus a whole bunch of t-shirts and other sort of memorabilia. I'm not a big memorabilia collector, but you know, I've got things over, you know, like all the Iron Maiden beer bottle caps and stuff, loads of it. No, Anthrax comes in. I've got about 60 with Anthrax, but no, Iron Maiden is by far and above, and I think Ramones is about the second. And then there's bands like Manic Street Preachers and The Wedding Present that I've got a load of as well, but they're not metal. This is Metal Tag. So I wanted to show something Iron Maiden. The last thing that came into my collection is this. It's kind of a semi-official bootleg, I think, From Here to Mexico. FM broadcast in Mexico City, 1992. Sound quality not that bad. It's not a proper bootleg though, because the pictures look like they're from the right time. It is from the Mexico gig. It is from 1992, and I think all the tracks are correct, spelled correct, in the right order. So whoever put this together knew what they were doing, which is quite unusual for some bootlegs. But that was the last thing that entered my collection. All I've got left really to collect is sort of anniversary reissues, I guess, and bootlegs. I'm not massively into bootlegs, especially with the price of some of them, but had this off for Christmas off my wife, so very happy to have it. It was a good listen. So I made the band I have, or the artist I have most people buy. Hey Jason, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining. Question 7. Show an album that you blind bought in 2023. Blind buy is something now I tend to avoid. It's too expensive of a hobby to get it wrong. But there were 3 releases I bought where I'd only heard a little snippet of each one. I touched on this in the last live stream. There was back in late August, September last year, Amazon had somebody at Amazon put a load of like high roller stuff on vinyl, 2023 reissues and new releases from High Roller Records for £6.99, and there were a couple here I wasn't going to buy because I thought I don't know if I'm really going to like them. Then I thought, okay, it's £6.99 for Christ's sake for a 2023 release. So the 3 in question are Kerrigan or Blood Moon, which was actually a 2023 release. I did a needle drop of this in the last stream, but I'd only heard a little snippet of it. I still haven't played it through properly yet. Air Raid, I was thinking, I don't know, another new wave of traditional heavy metal band. This is all a bit too generic, but this is a fantastic album. This is originally came out in 2017, and it's the 2023 reissue. Air Raid have a few... they have a few different albums out now, but as with a lot of new wave traditional heavy metal bands, when I find one album I like, I don't tend to necessarily dive much deeper into them because they can sound a bit samey across their albums. But this album, Across the Line by Air Raid, is absolutely fantastic, and I thought that would be one I would listen to, think was a bit generic and probably sell on. The third one from that same batch that I got was Elm Street, The Great Tribulation. Again, this is a 2023 release, and I showed it in my review live stream and did a needle drop as well. So go and check that out if you want to hear what this album sounds like. I'm not going to play it again just now, but that's like Aussie thrash metal. So yeah, High Roller does rule, Jason, but they are a bit of a bastard to get hold of in the UK right now. You have to do a ridiculously large order for them to even post to the UK. But that's just the breaks, I guess. Yeah, I think a few of us did. It ended up taking about 3 months till it got to me, because I think they oversubscribed on that one. I'm no doubt somebody got fired over that. Yeah, all very cool. Yeah, some of them, when they sound a bit too overproduced, they can be a little bit very, very samey. But there are some good ones out there. But to me, they only tend to have maybe one album, and they use up all their ideas, and then they just repeat those ideas on their next album, and it's never quite the same. But yeah, so those are my blind buys, I guess, and I only picked them up because they were £7. Haha. Sorry, Marty. Right, show a title that you own on more than one format. Now, the one that would immediately spring to mind would be something like Live After Death by Maiden, because I have that on vinyl, CD, tape, DVD, T-shirt, every which way. But I've seen at least one person show that as well. So I'm still going to go with Maiden, because I've got a lot of Maiden stuff on multiple, but I'm going to go with another live album, and that's Maiden England 88. Originally only released as a VHS, well, later on a DVD, and then was obviously released as, I think it was a CD came next, and then the album is a double picture disc. I really like the show. It's something a little bit different from Live After Death, although nothing will ever surpass that. Don't have a cassette copy. I'm not even sure if it came out on cassette. It probably did. And I'm not going to search out a VHS copy. That's a little bit too far, I think. Okay, so that was the question 8, a title on one or more formats. Number 9, we'll do a needle drop for number 9, I think. This is show a release conceptually inspired by literature. Like a few people, videos I've seen, I'm not necessarily a big reader. I'm not necessarily someone who would buy an album because it had a certain author was inspired it. I just tend to buy it if I like the music. But I have got one album here which came out in 2015. It's by Irish band Terminus. The album is called The Reaper's Spiral, and this whole album is inspired by the works of Isaac Asimov, who's he's a famous sci-fi novelist. I've heard of him. I've never actually read any of his books, but Terminus apparently is a planet in Isaac Asimov's Foundation series. Obviously, I'm reading this not from memory. It is the capital planet of the first Foundation. It is located at the edge of the galaxy. So if anyone wants to find it, just go out to the galaxy, turn right, and it's just on the edge there. The album's lyrics and the band's name as well are mostly about the works of Isaac Asimov and his Foundation series. So let me give a needle drop on this one. If I remember, the vocals on this one are a little bit funky. What I like about this is the cover is actually the slip cover is part of the cover, so the printing of the band name and their logo is on the plastic case, and then the artwork on here is actually, it's quite difficult to see, but it's pretty cool. And there's the back cover, nice sort of matte finish to it as well. I'm going to some good comments coming. I'll catch up with you guys in a second. I'll throw the record on. I can show all this. Still getting used to this freedom of format of live streams where I don't actually have to feel like I get everything right. It's that long since I played this that I don't know the songs that well. It's got a heavy side and a metal side. What sounds good? What looks fairly short and sounds good? On side heavy. The Psycho Historians. Let's go for that one. Track 2, side heavy, side 1. Looks fairly short. Actually, this looks a bit too short. Let's go with the... I can't even say that name. I'll show you in a second. Right. Right, so this one is called the Encyclopedists. It's encyclopedia. Yeah. It's called that. Track 3. And a nice hard stock picture of the band and lyrics. It's good metal though, I remember that. Okay, let's see, what have I missed? Hey Jan, or was it Jan? Welcome aboard. Yeah, the baby, yeah, the DVD's good. I'm not quite sure the camera angles with it though. Yeah, I presume you're talking about Terminus here, Jason. Yeah, this is classic metal. Not I, sir, not I. I read books, but not bothered. Yeah, I like that. The only thing is, it's one of those hard, fairly hard plastic sleeves that's prone to cracking. Oh, they can't possibly be Irish then, Marty, can they? If you've never heard of them. They've got 2 albums out as well. Second album is called something like Single Point of Entry. A Single Point of Light, sorry. Decent, but I prefer this one. Actually, it's a good pick. This actually was one of my favourite tracks now. Okay. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by that as well. I really don't know the Tony Martin era that well at all, and the chance to get them all as a probably on a CD for the box set would be pretty cool. Yeah, I read a few music-based books. I'm actually reading, is it Mick Wall's Metallica book at the moment, which is pretty good. It's a lot of earlier stuff that I wasn't aware of. Hi, Simon. I believe some films are actually based on books. I've read that somewhere, but it wasn't in the book. Different Terminus. I'm guessing there's quite a few Terminus out there. It takes a bit getting used to. I didn't like it when I first heard it, but now I know what to expect. I'm on board with it. Awesome. Although, to be fair, I don't think he said feck once, has he? So for anyone just joining, this is a metal tag. This is you're listening to a band called Terminus, the Reaper's Spiral, and this is the whole album is inspired by Isaac Asimov Foundation series, but to me it's just good metal. And the song is, I'm going to give it one more chance to butcher it, it's called The Encyclopedists. Boom. What do you think of that one then? A little bit different. Okay, the next question is, name a band you would travel a considerable distance to see. I don't think there is anybody these days. The only sort of big name, or what has been a big name band that I haven't seen that I wish I had, is probably Megadeth. But at the end of the day, these days I'm probably not going to fall over myself to go and see them. If they played Glasgow, which is probably the nearest venue to me, which is only 40 miles away, I would definitely go along. Not because I think they will blow me away or anything, but just to tick that box. But I've no interest in really travelling that far to gigs. Luckily, within the UK, bands don't tend to. If they're going to come up to Scotland, they're going to come to Glasgow, and that's not too far away. Maybe the furthest I'll go would be Manchester. If there was another VC meetup that we had down there, like we did for is it Riot City and Seven Sisters last year, I would probably be up for that again, because that was a great laugh. No, for anybody who's seen comments about Warship I've still got it on my desk here in the comment section here. This is a 2023 album called The Third Wave by Warship that I got as a very kind VCLT from one of my viewers, Jim, and we played it on the last stream, and it was truly atrocious, terrible, horrible. If you not, I've put sort of like chapter markings on the last video. If you didn't watch that one, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but look up the section for Warship. It's like one of those I hate those reaction videos that are on YouTube, but I couldn't help reacting. It was the first time I'd ever heard it. It wasn't contrived in any way. Some of the comments were hilarious as well. So that's what I love about these live streams. Just nattering away, going off in tangents, and having a bit of seeing where it takes me with the comments. Yep, cool. I've not really seen it around too much. I think it was one of those, I don't even know what label it was on. Terminus, that was on Horror Records. Never heard of them before. Yeah, it was great. There was a good 7 or 8 of us, I think, there. Yeah, I think we all needed a little bit of therapy after that one, Kim. Keep the comments coming. This is great. I'm going to move on to the next question. So, so a band I would consider travel. There isn't really one. Even I think Matt Mickey mentioned this in his video, that London is. A lot of bands that would only come to the UK and play one gig, the big ones, would probably go to London. And even though that's only a few hundred miles, 500 miles maybe at the most, which is basically down the road for some of you guys in the US and Canada, that's just like the other side of the planet to me. In the UK, we just don't do those kind of distances at all. And I don't know, just wouldn't want to go to London all the way down there just for a gig. Soured Grapes, question 11. Show a 2023 release you enthusiastically pursued but eventually lost interest in. Again, there isn't one. I was careful with what I was picking up in 2023, and there isn't an album that I regret buying or have lost interest in. The Elm Street album, I've not fully clicked with this one yet, so this is probably the closest I've got to that question. But I haven't lost enthusiasm yet. I just haven't fully clicked with it, so I need to give it some more spin time to really get going. Now we're moving on to the Golden Child. This is, we want to name an artist that you feel can do no wrong. Now that's quite a sweeping statement, do no wrong. So I'm doing this with complete rose tinted specs. So the artist I've chosen an artist rather than just a band, is Kai Hansen. There hasn't been anything he has touched that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed and dived into. I've got a collection of his projects here, or the bands that he's been in, and I've kind of I've not picked any albums. I've kind of gone for more sort of EPs. So the first one, obviously, most known for Halloween, the original vocalist. This is the self-titled EP. I can't remember when this came out. This probably would have been about 85. Yep, on Noise Records. Great EP. We've got Starlight, Murderer, Warrior, Victim of Fate, and Cry for Freedom. So everybody knows Kai from Halloween. He's probably less well known after, unless you know, if you're one of the ones that knows, then you know. After that, he set up his own band called Gamma Ray. He has had stints where he's the vocalist on here, and he's got other vocalists in as well. I've read before that he would rather concentrate on just being able to play and move around the stage and not be restricted to standing in front of a microphone, but I think he does an absolutely fantastic job. I love him in Gamma Ray. This is, I mean, Gamma Ray have probably about 15 or so albums out. They've not had one out for a few years now. They seem to be a bit of hiatus maybe since Halloween reformed as their supergroup version. This is from 2011. It's the Skeletons and Majesties mini album EP. It's got 4 new tracks on there, and then 4 bonus tracks as well. So that was in Gamma Ray. While he was in Gamma Ray at the start, he was also fulfilling guitar duties within the band Iron Savior. Iron Savior, their whole discography is a concept. I mean, you've heard of concept albums. These guys have got a concept discography. Everything is written, or certainly a lot of the earlier stuff. I don't know if they still do it now. These guys are still going, although Kai Hansen was only in the first 3 or 4 albums. And Iron Savior is about I think it's a spaceship, Iron Savior, and all the songs are literally about the wars or different things associated with the story of Iron Savior. This is Interlude. It has 4 new tracks and 4 tracks live from Wacken. Actually, this is this was 1999. It looks like it came out. So yeah, this is when he was also doing Gamma Ray and Iron Savior at the same time. Then he eventually stepped away from Iron Savior to concentrate on Gamma Ray. Sorry, he stepped away from Iron Savior to concentrate on Gamma Ray. But Interlude is an EP that they did between releases. What have we got here? Oh yeah, they are, to me at the time, I kind of fell off Halloween when he left, because he left, and Gamma Ray seemed to be like a perfect extension of what Halloween could have been. I've since really enjoyed the Andy Derris era now, and like them both in parallel, but Gamma Ray are just, it's just the Kai Hansen, what Kai Hansen brought to Halloween, he takes to Gamma Ray. Big discography as well, Jason. Yeah, he did a guest appearance on a Blind Guardian album, and he also did a guest appearance with his son on an album by North Tail. I think it was their second album, so that's worth checking out as well. I've got that as well, but I'll show that here. The other project that I've got that he was involved in is Unisonic, and again, this is an EP. Unisonic did a couple of albums, and here he's reunited with Michael Kiske. This is much more sort of melodic, and it's not symphonic, but it has that kind of rich sound to it. It's not quite as sort of straight up heavy metal as you say the likes of Halloween and Gamma Ray and Iron Savior are, but this is really, really well done. I really do enjoy it, and especially having Kiske's vocals on here as well. Absolutely superb. So yeah, Unisonic. This came out in 2014. I don't know if they're still ongoing, but they've got. Oh, actually, these are handy. They've got a couple of albums as well. So there's the Light of Dawn, and yeah, this was the first one. I think it's just a self-titled album. Kiske and Hansen reunited again. A little bit of a supergroup actually. They've got Mandy Mayer, ex-Crocus, and ex-Gotthard, Dennis Ward, and Costa Zafarou, ex-Pink Cream. Pink Cream was actually the band I think that Andy Derris came from before he joined Halloween, or one of the bands he was in before. Yeah, unbelievable. One of my favourite vocalists. That's the one, Eternal Flame by North Tail. Yeah, him and his son play on that one as guests as well. And probably Rose Tinted Specs again. I think it's the best song on the album by far. It's a little bit too power metal-y, that album, for me, though, I must say. But it's still good. I don't know about that. I don't necessarily like Kiske more than Hansen, but I think Kiske just those albums that Kiske was on with Hansen were just sublime. And the debut album was almost a little, well, it was a little bit different sounding, wasn't it? But I'm the same with you, but nothing against Hansen, of course, because he's my golden child. Right. No skin in the game here at all. I'm just a happy participant. I have heard of that Kiske Somerville project, but I've not heard it, if that makes sense. So obviously something I still need to check out. But that's enough about the Golden Child. Let's move on to someone who's overstayed their welcome. A band that you wish you would have quit when they were already ahead. I don't know if John is still on, but I'm not going to pick the same one as you, mate. I already had this one in mind. In fact, I usually don't watch many metal tags until I've done my own, because I don't want to feel like I'm being influenced or feel I have to find something else because someone's already said something. But John hit the nail on the head. Guns N' Roses. To me, one album wonders. One of my all-time favourite albums. Easily a top 10 album for me. I have not got tired of it. Sweet Child of Mine, I could put on a loop and I wouldn't get fed up with it. If I hear it come on the radio, I turn it up. I don't turn it off. Absolutely sublime. One of my favourite releases of all time. This is, I've got a couple of the OGs, he says, showing off with the two covers, the original one and the band one. This is the 30th anniversary remaster, reimagining, or not reimagining, it's just remastered, but it's spread over 3 sides instead of 2, because it was a very packed album to fit on one disc before. This is one of those ones I'm not unhappy to see on multiple discs, because it sounds absolutely superb. Great pack if it could find it. That's kind of a shiny slip case that it's in. But other choices I probably could have done for this, I was thinking of, were Motley Crue. That was one of the ones I was going to do. Or maybe Ozzy Osbourne as well. I've never been the biggest Ozzy fan. And the albums I can tolerate are really in the 80s. It's a banger. I listen to this album easily 2, 3, 4 times a year. It's great. Ozzy 80s stuff is okay for me. But after that, I just lost all interest at all. And Wasp is another one. I'm not even that into Headless Children, to be honest with you. I liked their childish, stupid humor. The stuff that they did in those first three albums to me were that was Wasp. That's the Wasp I want to hear, not the sensible Wasp that they kind of turn into. I know they kind of try to recapture some of that a little bit later on, but those first three Wasp albums for me are where it is, and few things after that, but they kind of lost me pretty much. But yeah, Guns N' Roses that had probably the fastest rise to fame of any rock band really in modern times, last 40 years, and also the fastest cliff dive as well. I didn't really hear a lot of the Axl with AC/DC stuff, to be honest with you, and I wasn't really that interested. Not the biggest AC/DC fan either. I like AC/DC, I can listen to them, but I don't really collect any of that stuff. Oh, wash your mouth out with soap. That's a terrible thing to say. There are a few albums that are a bit clunkers after Seventh Son, but I'm a big fan of modern era Maiden. Even with all the long drawn out songs, I like them. I like them for what they are, and there's still the 80s stuff to go back to. Yeah, I got excited for a second when they were doing that tour, but then I saw some footage of it and just thought, nah. Yeah, I don't necessarily buy that they're a prog rock band. I think they've definitely got prog elements to them, and Steve Harris has been in no way ever shied away from that. I mean, his influences, even when the new wave of British heavy metal, was sort of some prog in there as well. So, but I don't think they are a prog rock band. I think they are a band that has heavily changed their style towards a more prog rock style. But I still think they're metal. They're just a different type of metal. Actually, talking of Steve Harris, so the Rock Scout, he may not be making videos, but I assure you he is alive and well, and it's not that he's going through any personal tragedy that he's not making videos. I just think he can't really be asked, to be honest with you, at the moment. Me and him are meeting up on, I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday next week, the 10th, whatever day that is, and we are going to go and see British Lion, Steve Harris's side project, play in Edinburgh. So I'm really looking forward to that, to seeing. Not only do I like the British Lion stuff, I think it's really good, especially that second album that they've done, absolutely superb. But to see him in a fairly small gig playing, I just think that'll be absolutely fantastic. Right, let's move on. Question 14 is: show a band or release that you bought in 2023 as a direct result of watching someone else's YouTube channel. Okay, so my choice is not so much an album that's from directly watching somebody's VC video, but it was one I was directly involved in. So Metal Mickey did a series where he was inviting people on to do live streams, and you would give each other albums to listen to that you hadn't heard before, and you would give your opinion on them and see whether it was a good choice. Now, the couple that I picked out for Mike, he absolutely fucking hated. But he's a difficult man to please. But the one album he picked out for me was Anacrusis, Suffering Hour, and oh man, I played this, and actually I'm a little bit cheating here. I didn't buy this in 2023. I actually got it as VCLT. I put it on my wish list, and I was kind of waiting for it to come down to a price I wanted to get myself. But good old Jim Davis from Texas, he sent me a copy of this. I still have it sealed. It's not because I'm ungrateful he sent it. It's just that I played it a lot before I went into that live stream with Mike, and I don't need to hear it again yet. And as excited as I was to get it, I want to, when I'm ready to listen to it again, I want to have that experience of cracking the shrink and seeing the album inside and hearing it kind of for the first time on vinyl. But brilliant album by Anacrusis, kind of, I guess, progressive style thrash metal. It's very different. It's thrash, but it's something very different as well. But yeah, really good album, and I wouldn't have picked this up or listened to it. The cover looks very doomy. I guess this could be another one that was the cover doesn't really reflect the music. To me, it looks a bit more sort of doom or maybe atmospheric sort of black metal. But yes, a great album. And question 15, and I'll do a needle drop on this one, is, oh, actually, there's some cheating. Yeah, I know, but rules are meant to be broken, aren't they? Yep, brilliant, great album. Glad you all agree. I've not heard any of the other Anacrusis stuff, to be honest with you, and I have heard that it's a bit different. Again, I enjoy that album so much, I almost don't want to. I don't want to spoil my enjoyment of it by listening to some of the other stuff. This is great. I'll get around to it eventually. Hey Darcy, glad you could join us. We're about 3/4 of the way through, but anyway, you know, the thing with these live streams is if you don't catch them live, they do tend to be a bit long. But you know, the whole thing with something recorded is you can just watch it a little bit as a time. Yeah, Darcy only knows too well about recommending some of your favourite things to Mike, and he will literally put it in a blender and feed it back to you if he doesn't like it. He's not shy in coming forward. So the next one is show an otherwise good album that ends up suffering from being too long. This one is actually related to Anacrusis. This is an album I don't know that well. I only got it, again, from Jim Davis a few weeks before Christmas. I opened it up on Christmas Day. I've played it 1.5 times now. It's a good album, but it suffers from being a bit long. And this is an album by Ken Nardi, and it's called Dancing with the Past. Now, Ken Nardi is the, I think, guitarist and vocalist for Anacrusis. This album is incredibly hard to categorize. There's definitely thrash elements in here. There's really progressive elements on here. If you think Maiden are progressive, then this makes Maiden just look like a normal heavy metal band. To me, there are some bits in here where it's kind of slower, and his vocal style is all over the place. He can do really kind of beautifully melodic slower parts, and parts of that actually to me sound a bit like Genesis with Phil Collins singing, and other parts are almost like death metal, guttural screams in there as well. It's a really interesting album, and I like every song that I've heard, but it's a 2 CD set. CD 1 is like 78 minutes, which is pretty much, you can't get much more on the CD. CD 2 is longer. CD 2 goes up to like 79 minutes. That's best part of 160 minutes in an album. I listened to it earlier, and I was only on track 7. Finished track 7, I'd be listening to it for like 45 minutes. And I had to go off and do something else. So it's hard to get into as an album because it's just so damn long. I mean, 80 minutes for a CD is long, but 2 CDs in the album. But it is really interesting. I'm going to chuck on a song here as well, if I can remember. I mean, there are instrumentals on here as well. There's at least one instrumental that's 7 minutes, and I'm not the biggest instrumental fan. I think for an album this long, he probably could have left those off. But I'm going to put out a song called Made. I don't know it that well, but I'm hoping this is one that kind of showcases all the different elements of it. I just need to do a little bit of changing the channels, and let's go. Track 3. I think this was one of them. So that's Ken Nardi. I've not even listened to the second CD yet. A 28-track album. I think this is, from what I remember of listening to it 1.5 times, so this is fairly typical. No, nothing else yet, Darcy. It's kind of way down my list. I like that first album so much, and I know they changed their style a bit, but I'm kind of holding off. I'll get there. Hey, John. Actually, John helped me quite a lot with deciding. I really like John's videos that he does where he plays music, and I was looking for something different from the usual VC stuff, and I thought I would like to give it a go. So, John, the advice you gave me in that comment was superb. It didn't quite work out for me because I've got a slightly different setup, but it helped me figure out what I needed to do. So, the fact that you guys can hear the music from the stereo through to my computer and still hear me over the top is partly thanks to John Bitbot Boom there. Well, the tracks are generally, there's a lot of 6-minute tracks on here. About half the tracks are probably 6 minutes. There's some 7 minutes. There's some, the shortest one is 3:56. But it's just there's so many of them. So many of them. This one's a short one. This one's only 4:39. He also sent me, got it to hand, another Ken Nardi one as well, which I've just not got round to yet. Well, I will do. So I only had them a couple of weeks ago. And these are both on Dive Bomb Records, but there's this one that was signed as well. It's got a signed insert with it. And the album is called Trauma, but I've not heard that one yet. But I've heard enough to know that they're a keeper. Certainly no Warship, that's for sure. Yeah, that would have been better. And you'd be surprised to hear that there's no vinyl release of this. Even though it only originally came out in 2016. Yeah, I really like the format, John. It's I'm enjoying it a lot. Just kind of the less planning, just diving in and doing it, and no worrying about having to upload it after. Actually, I'm going to flip over to another one because I want to hear a little bit more of the variation with the vocals. I'm not going to play the whole of this track because it's 6 minutes, but I think this one has a bit more variation. This one's called Fragile. I know very little about prog metal, I have to admit. Yeah, actually this is the song I should have picked to start with. Definitely more on the thrash metal side, but the other one does give an idea of how the songs are very different across the album. Yeah, this is good, and I know the whole point of this song is that an otherwise good album that ends up suffering from being too long. It's being nearly 80 minutes. It's so long, it's hard to get into because I know that I'm not going to get through the whole album in one sitting. Very rarely I've got that much time just to sit here and listen to a CD. But definitely one I'm going to pursue, and I just probably need to split it up into 40-minute chunks. Yeah, I saw a bit of that one, John. I just didn't know off the bands, to be honest with you. Not really my genre. Okay, I'll leave that one playing a little bit in the background. So a few more bands that a few more questions that I'll cover. Then we'll do the drops on. So number 16 is show your favourite band T-shirt. This is a tough one because I don't really have a favourite band T-shirt. I have some favourites. I have a lot of band T-shirts. Try and pick them up at gigs whenever I can. I had some amazing ones in the 80s that I didn't even. You don't even think I'm going to keep that because it's going to be something great to have later on and just wear them so that it holds. My favourite one in the 80s was a white Anthrax Judge Dredd one, I Am the Law. I think I picked that up on the Among the Living tour at one of the gigs or something, because I saw them 2 or 3 times that year. And I always loved that one. I think I left it in the laundrette or something as a student, and always kind of regretted that. The original Live After Death T-shirt that I had as a teenager as well, absolutely loved that one, wore that one to death. But of modern day ones that I've got, now this one is nothing. I don't think people are going to look at it and go, "What? That's your favourite one?" But it's this Diamond Head one. It is completely lived in now. I just love the classic logo on it. I like that I can put it on, and if I'm going somewhere with my wife or whatever, she doesn't really necessarily want to see me wearing a Slayer T-shirt or some family thing is. Nobody necessarily knows, unless you know. You don't know it's necessarily a metal band. This was a gig T-shirt from 2016. When I see them, I saw them playing at the La Belle Angel, October the 6th, 2016. And that's what I like about tour T-shirts. I only buy them if they have the dates on the back, because it's almost like having a sort of a diary entry that you can wear, when you had it. But so I've had it for getting on for 8 years now. This year, it's starting to get a little bit cracked from the number of times it's been washed, but it's well worn and it's just a personal favourite of mine. So that Judge Death patch that I have here, I thought I had that as well. Well, actually, I thought I had that. I bought that patch to go on here because I was trying to some degree, recreate my 80s battle jacket, and I bought that thinking that I had that on my jacket, but I didn't. I had the Splendid Disease album cover. And I think it was one of your videos, John, you were talking about that as a tour T-shirt. I remember that actually was the tour T-shirt I had, and not the back patch, but I like the back patch. I didn't get very far with the jacket. I put two patches on it and gave up. That's one for the day. No Warship T-shirts. No Warship T-shirts at all. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, some of the simple T-shirts, some of the amazing artwork T-shirts are also fantastic. But, at a family meal with a lot of conservative people, certainly my wife's family, it's not the fun thing really to wear a Slayer T-shirt. Oh, I didn't see them until 2016, John, but I've seen them about 5 times since. They always come to Edinburgh, and they always do some sort of charity thing where they donate some of the stuff to. Where they donate, I think, some to some of the gig takings to this specific charity. So their new vocalist, he's been there for probably about 10 years now. I forget his name. Foreign sounding. I think it's Rasmus Bon Anderson, I think his name is. He's great. He does a really good job of the early sort of melodic catalogue, and also the newer Diamond Head releases are also really good as well. What's gigs I was at, T-shirts for sale, but none of them had doors. Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, I can't be doing with that at all. It's got to have the dates on it for me to buy a T-shirt. Right, moving on. Question 17 is one for you, Darcy. Share a band that has been around for at least 24 years that you think is still going strong creatively and relevant. I like traditional heavy metal. I don't think any traditional heavy metal is particularly relevant these days to anybody other than those that like it. So that taken out the equation, I've gone for a band that I think have been strong creatively within that traditional heavy metal bracket, and they have been going at least 24 years. So it's 2024. This band was formed in 1999. They've had 4 or 5 studio albums, and it's a ram. So what I've pulled out is, this is a reissue, but this is Sudden Impact. This was their first release that they put out originally in 2003. Swedish heavy metal, Swedish epic heavy metal. These guys are denim and studs, and their last album came out in 2019. You know, Darcy, we're due another Ram album pretty damn soon. This is The Throne Within. They're too old to be a new wave of traditional heavy metal band. They started before that whole sort of tag came in. They've weathered the storm. Their albums, each of them offers something different. They're not releasing the same album. It's the same sort of style. They have their own identity. You know, when it comes on, it's a Ram album, but they just go from strength to strength. Saw them a few years back. Really nice guys. They played to an absolutely piss poor audience. There was only about probably less than 50 of us in the club at the time, and it looked really small. I think they were a bit pissed off that they were playing to such a poor turnout. It was early in the week, and I don't think Ram are that well known. But if you don't know Ram, check them out. So they have been going for 24 years now. This is their 25th year if they formed in 1999, and they've been releasing albums since 2003 all the way up to 2019. Definitely need it. John, sort yourself out, please, mate. That's just not good enough. Thunder. Okay, that's an interesting one. I really don't know Thunder at all. They were a band I never really clicked with, but interesting. I know they did have did they have an album out last year? If they're creatively, if they're still relevant and strong to this day, then that's good to hear. I could have obviously gone for other bands. Like, I think Maiden is they're probably still relevant because there are still people that are influenced by them. But it's a little bit sad that there are no bands coming out in the last 10 years or so that new bands are saying they're influenced by. They're still all influenced by the 80s stuff and nothing that's really happened over the last 10, 15 years or so, I guess. Hey, Simon. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, I think they did. They were pre it. They weren't. I don't think they were trying to be the new wave of traditional heavy metal. Obviously, somebody else threw that tag on. I think it was more the likes of Skullfist, Enforcer, those type of bands that really kind of kicked that movement off. Yeah, apology accepted, mate. Sort it out though. Expect to see it in your next update. Yeah, I think they're really good. Marty, they just don't. I don't think they just don't have the backing really, or not enough people know about them, and that's such a shame. I believe so, Simon. I believe so, but probably not under the rock that you're living in. Thunder is amazing. That's awesome. I think it's great that everybody has their own taste in music. In fact, metal is, to say you're into metal and what that can mean to different people is just phenomenal. It's great that everybody can like metal, but then everybody can like completely different style of metal to each other, but it's all relevant. Oh yeah, that is an absolute banger of a track. Is that on Death? I think Death. What an album. In fact, that's one of my favourite albums actually. Is Under the Scythe on Death? Yes. Again, yeah. Death is a great place to start. Cool. And most of this stuff's been on. It was on High Roller, wasn't it? Is it still? Oh, Metal Blade. Sorry, Metal Blade recently. So it's fairly easy to get hold of. Yeah, Night Demon are also, but they've only been going for 10 years or so, or they've only releasing albums for 10 years. They're one of the ones I'm a bit scared of playing because they're on Metal Blade. It'll probably just screw up the stream. So I'm gonna shy away from Ram, and I'm gonna leave that as homework for you all to go away and listen to some Ram. Question 18. Share your favourite band mascot. I'm gonna leave Eddie out because I think everybody that's quite of an obvious choice, and there's so many good mascots. But I'm gonna go a little bit left field, and I'm gonna go with the Knot Man. I always like the Knot Man because he just doesn't look metal at all, and he sums up Anthrax pretty well. This is the Knot Man for those who don't know. I had a from the State of Euphoria tour, which is what this album is. On the merch table, Anthrax was selling, because they had their whole like shorts thing going on. You could get Anthrax shorts. They were black shorts, and they had the Knot Man all over them. Which I think they also had Anthrax Knot Man, and just a picture of the Knot Man's head on them. I lapped that shit up. I bought those. I used to wear them as pajamas, because I'd never wear them out anywhere. But yeah, I think the Knot Man is a little bit different, and he's not one that's been overused either. Or in fact at all anymore, I don't think, other than some merch that they put out. So that's my favourite band, a mascot. Grab bag. Share a random pull from your collection. No peeking. I use Discogs to pull a random record because my collection's kind of split up into. It's not split up by genres or anything, but I've got different. It's all kind of to hand, but it's not really random. If I went to a cube, I'd specifically know which bit of my collection is. But I did use Discogs, and I pulled out an album I bought last year. It's a reissue, 2020 reissue of 1985 Griffin and the Flight of the Griffin. There's the band. Straight up heavy metal. I think these guys are from the US. It was recorded in California. I'm going to stick it on because it's a great album actually. I think Heavy Metal Attack, as this is a heavy metal tag, would probably be a wise choice. Switch over. To I actually think I need to change the belt on my turntable because it sometimes sounds a little bit warbly when it starts. Adrian. Glad we have some appreciation. So this is a ZYX reissue. The ZYX actually do quite a good job. They do kind of do a bit of a minimalist. So you get your little collage of stuff. It's enough to wet your whistle. They were a band that passed me by originally, but it was a good find. No, not the mistake I made in the last stream. Yeah, absolute killer label. I just think they're one of those bigger ones that are going to have their copyright shit together on YouTube. Yeah, definitely a new belt time. It's alright once it gets going. glad I've got one actually. I just getting off my arse and putting it onto these. This song is called Heavy Metal Attack. It's Griffin, Flight of the Griffin. I have not heard that one, but it's one that I'm definitely interested in picking up now. It's everything I need from a heavy metal song. That scream. Nice, I will have to check that out. As long as it's within my tight arse price range. That might be another stream idea. Just playing songs that have heavy metal in the title. Of which there are many. Right, we are coming into the last question of the metal tag, and I hope I come out with the longest metal tag video. That could be my legacy for 2024, but we shall see. So the last question is, and I wasn't quite sure how to interpret this one properly, so I've put two ideas forward as to how I'm going to go, but it's show an album from a metal band that this worship is never going to go away, is it? Absolutely not. Show an album from a metal band that others may not consider metal. This is just, I don't know, this is just too subjective. If they're a metal band, then they're a metal band, as far as I'm concerned. I know you'll get people, certainly a lot of younger people, that don't think anything from the 80s was just hard rock now, and that's just, people change over time, and everybody considers their current metal period that they're in to be true metal, or whatever it is. So I've kind of gone, I'm taking this a different way. I've not chosen metal bands that others may not consider metal, but I've chosen, I've got a couple of examples here of bands that aren't metal that have released albums that are metalish, should we say. So first one, and I love this band anyway, and that's Wolf Mother. This is their debut self-titled album. I think they're just a two-piece. There may be more in the actual band, but it's mainly a one-guy project. Is the I can't ever remember his name. It's Australian dude, I think. But more, probably more on the fuzzy sort of stoner hard rock side of things, but I don't think there's anything on here that a metal band, a metal fan wouldn't enjoy. A little bit different. It's not a heavy metal album by any means, but there are some heavy elements to this album, and I think I might be missing their latest album, but the ones that I've got, absolutely superb. In fact, I got into this band, the song Apple Tree. At the time, I wasn't listening to a lot of metal. I was listening to more sort of alternative rock. And there's a band called the White Stripes, and I thought Apple Tree was a White Stripes song when I first heard it, and then when I couldn't find it, I found out it was a Wolf Mother song, and that led me into songs like Woman, Colossal. Yeah, this is a great album. If you've not heard Wolf Mother, give it a go. It's a bit more. If you like the stoner stuff as well, you'll like that. And the other band I've chosen is very much not a metal band, but it's more of a, again, alternative rock band. Yeah, I don't I'm never surprised when you've heard of some of the stuff I show. I feel like I just scratched the surface of your knowledge and depth that you have in your collection, Jason. It's always great to see your videos, mate. But yes, so the Pixies, definitely not a metal band. Trompe Le Monde, before it was released, there was a lot of buzz in the music press about how the Pixies were releasing an album that was more heavy metal than rock, and it's not a heavy metal album by any stretch of the imagination, but there's a lot more metal elements to this album than any of the earlier Pixie stuff that you may be familiar with. Just listen to the song Planet of Sound. That's an absolute killer. It's obviously the title track off the album, but there are metal elements to it. So they're not a metal band, but the album itself is more on the metal side than some of the other Pixie stuff that you may well be familiar with. Now, that ends the 20 questions, and I did want to end off on a needle drop. And I was wondering whether to do one of these, but I didn't want to end up on a song that people didn't necessarily consider metal. Ram were mentioned before, and I said I wasn't going to play it because I'd probably get copyright dinged. John Bitbot Boo mentioned Under the Scythe. I'm going to stick Under the Scythe on because I'm going to close out the stream with this song, and if it gets a copyright ding, then they can blank out the sound of it, and I've not lost the whole stream. So here goes. I'm going to stick on Under the Scythe by Ram off the album Death. That's what, track 2, side 2. This song absolutely rips. I love it. Hopefully not too wobbly to start with. Here we go. Yeah, that's great. I love the early Pixie stuff as well. Probably. Maybe I should keep it just for streams. A streaming belt. But they can find when I put a new one. I'll get it sorted, don't worry. definitely one of my favourite Ram songs. I know what you meant. Good luck finding them all, John. Although High Roller have reissued them quite a few times. They're really albums. Forced Entry, that was their first full end. Then there was Lightbringer that I showed before. Subversing. Rod. And the last one was the Throne Within. So good. So good. Well, there we have it. That concludes my Metal Tag 2024 with Needle Drops. Thanks everybody for the chat today. I really do. You really do make the stream. It's so much fun just hearing different people's opinion, suggesting new releases or what have you. Do check out as many Metal Tag 2024 videos as you can. As I say, I guarantee if you search for it, you will find channels that you've never even heard about, and you'll find some fantastic channels that way. Okay, thanks all, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.